Hi, my name's Scott Rees. I'm Head of IT at Express Legal Services, and in this short video, I just want to talk about the conveyancing journey and the touch points in the conveyancing journey where the data should be made available for you to refresh at a low cost or at no cost. So, way before COVID, we started to look as an organisation at the conveyancing journey and how we could assist conveyancers with the due diligence that's required by their regulator, by their professional indemnity insurance providers, and just in terms of making sure that our processes fit with the law firm's own policies and procedures around a conveyancing matter. So going right to the start of the journey is your Know Your Client section. So looking at what's involved there, lots of firms still use AMLs as a form of ID check in this day and age. Yes, it supports the walk-in data that you might have, i.e. photocopies or copies of passports. But in terms of the pandemic hitting us and having to do remote ID check-in, there's been new products added into the conveyancing sector for obviously biometric ID check-in that will do the ID checks side of things for you as a firm. In most of those products, it also contains the AML data and PEPs and sanctions data at that point of order. But in terms of what the regulators are now wanting, they're now wanting firms to continuously monitor the PEPs and sanctions side of things. So there are facilities out there to help you do that and alert you to any changes. But on top of that, there's a note that AML data itself should be looked at certain touch points throughout the conveyancing journey. So to facilitate that, we have the concept of refreshing the data and using the systems to help you refresh at those points. In terms of what other products do you potentially need to refresh throughout a conveyancing journey? Again, throughout the pandemic, average case was taking 4 to 6 months, and things can change throughout them 4 to 6 months. So looking at the firm on the other side, getting their bank account details and their details as early as possible, and then running that through one of the screening products that's available to tell you whether there's been any suspicious activity around the firm, whether the bank account is an active bank account. So those products, that there's a number of products now around that enable you to check the firm on the other side before sending them any money. Checking it early on could save you a lot of time further down the road. So the earlier you can check it and everything's good to go, note on the file, and then we continue. But as you come towards the end of the conveyance and you're looking to do completion, then there should be a facility available for you to talk to your provider where you can check against that data again and just make sure that nothing's changed, there's nothing wrong, and you can move the monies effectively or safely. Now, in terms of source of funds, there are a number of new products that have come out there to assist firms in obtaining the source of funds information. And again, doing the source of funds as early as possible can only make the transaction be run more smoothly. So giving you the opportunity to refresh that data at some point in the journey, then again, that just sort of shows up that everything's running smoothly with this transaction and you've got very minimal risk as a firm and acting on this transaction. In terms of what will these products do to really help me going forward when talking to your insurers and looking at your PI renewal, matter risk assessment, firm risk assessment, then looking at the products that's contained within the journey and having those additional touch points, as well as looking at what products are contained in that journey that carry adequate amount of indemnity that you could offset against your own risk, then that's really important, I feel, for firms to be looking at. And I think the overall idea of refreshing the data at certain points throughout the transaction will definitely satisfy your regulator and your PI provider that you're doing your utmost to be as diligent as possible around the high value transactions. So I hope that makes sense. Talking to a camera is really, 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 really difficult, especially when you can see yourself back in it. I'm not nervous at all. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.